guys, and welcome to the Save Continue podcast, where every week we get together and talk about video games and video game related stuff. I'm Shanae Howard. This is Tommy Shelby.
Hello.
And Ryan Robinson.
Good evening.
And Ryan Robinson.
Hi. Was that Alfred Hitchcock, Tom?
Yeah.
Yeah. Norman Bates Hotel. He wrote that.
Yeah. Nurman?
Yeah. So.
Man, y'all are still all about that show.
Mrs. B.
Have you seen that show, Shanae?
No.
I started rewatching it.
Yeah, that show's real fun.
Well, I just finished Brooklyn Nine-Nine, so
Yeah.
I should probably watch that next. It's on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Netpicks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll maybe get on it.
Host the show, Shanae.
So
Norman Bates seems like someone who had cubbies in his house.
Yeah. Sure.
we didn't talk about that on recording. No one knows what I'm talking about or what you're talking about.
I know what I'm talking about.
It's been referenced.
Yeah.
So do y'all have any exciting video game news or any games that you're excited about coming out soon?
Hob is coming to Switch, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Turok just came to Switch, so I'm excited for that.
There it is.
But that's really about it.
Nothing exciting news-wise?
Not really. I mean, GDC's been going on. Saw some cool games from that. PlayStation had their first State of Play, which I didn't really find all that exciting, but I didn't see any reason for all the hate.
Tom, were you one of the people calling it PlayStation Direct?
No.
Okay.
But I mean, like, that's what it is, right? And that's okay. Like, I think it's smart, but people were so down on it, and I don't really understand why. Like, I get that they didn't announce anything super exciting at it, but, like, so what? They're going to do more of these throughout the year,
If there's anything that I've learned from...
And if you're into VR, they announced a bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm real excited about that No Man's Sky thing.
Oh, speaking of, Oculus Quest, I think I'm going to buy one of those.
How much is that?
$400.
Yikes.
But from what they've shown at GDC, super exciting as far as VR.
Minimal cables.
No cables,
Yeah.
no rig.
Yeah.
It's all self-contained. So my biggest thing with it was like, okay, well, is this going to be like fucking Gear VR?
Yeah.
Or am I going to be using my phone for this shit? Like, is this going to be crappy?
Yeah.
But no, apparently it's pretty good. Like visually, apparently it's pretty good. Not as good as a regular Oculus Rift or an HTC Vive, but better than PlayStation VR.
Yeah.
No cables, right? No computer required. And the games that they've shown for it are games that are releasing on all VR platforms, like Superhot and Beat Saber and things of that nature. So, pretty cool.
Okay. When's that out?
I don't know, but it's this year.
Cool. I want to play some VR.
What about you, Ryan?
Well, like I said, I'm real excited about that No Man's Sky VR thing. I like me some No Man's Sky, and I would like to play it in VR. That seems real neat. Also, Rage 2 is coming out soon. I'm excited about that. I like Rage 1. This seems very different from Rage 1.
Yes, it does.
But I'm still very excited about it. I could have done without the marketing of that trailer. That was real cringy.
Yeah.
But the game itself looks real neat. I'm excited for it. Also, Mortal Kombat is out this month.
That's exciting.
And I'm really excited to play that.
Yeah, a lot of people at my work have been talking about it. Like, people are pretty pumped about it.
You know what's real cool? There's Mortal Kombat the movie stuff in that game, and I'm really excited about that.
Yeah. We knew that from the very first trailer.
Yeah, but it's real cool. I finally got to I got to look at Shang Tsung.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's so cool. And I hope at some point he says your soul is mine.
I just wish they had Christopher Lambert,
Yeah.
and I don't see that happening.
Yeah. Maybe they'll get James Remar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Borderlands 3 got yet again announced.
Who cares?
I mean, a lot of people are excited for it.
Yeah.
I'm not so much,
Yeah.
but
I'll probably play it at some point.
yeah.
I mean, it looks like more Borderlands, which depending on how you look at it is a good thing or a bad thing.
I've just had so much Borderlands in my life.
Yeah.
I don't like the writing, and I feel like you need to really show me something different to get me to play this game. I said before I would be into Borderlands 3 if they added armor sets,
Nope.
right? Because it's already Diablo,
Sure.
just no armor sets.
Right.
And I don't believe that's going to be there, so...
what I imagine is going to happen with that game is what happened with Borderlands 2, like from a writing perspective. By the time that game comes out, it's going to be making a bunch of outdated meme references.
Well, yeah, I mean, think about it. Like, we first heard about this game's existence at the very first PAX South.
Yeah.
You know?
And I'm not trying to be a downer or an asshole about it, but like, there's going to be more of that claptrap dude, which I can't with that fucking robot. Like, I cannot.
But I am glad people are excited for it.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing is I
If you
feel
like
I'm-
bad games, good for you. You know?
Well, no, I feel
If
like
your taste is garbage,
yeah.
I'm just playing.
I feel like I'm full of shit because I know that I'm gonna play it. I know that I'm gonna get it when it comes out. It's just. But that's the thing though, right? Is because like I like loot shooters and everything, but like, and there are other loot shooters out there, but I haven't played one whose loop has been as satisfying as Borderlands was to me. And I feel like by the time Borderlands 3 comes out,
Yeah.
that's gonna be like it'll still probably be my best choice for that sort of experience. So
Perhaps.
Yeah, and it's been
I
a
hear
long,
the Division 2 is pretty good.
I've heard the same.
Uh,
So
it's been a long time since I played a Borderlands game, so I don't really have Borderlands fatigue. Like I have like nostalgia, or, like rose colored glasses
Yeah.
about it. So like Borderlands 3 sounds like a fun thing for me. But I also didn't play like the Telltale's Borderlands games, and I didn't.
That's a good one.
And I didn't play a lot of the DLCs for the other games. I just kind of like played like the main one and then a couple of the DLC stuff.
Yeah.
Shanae, did you play Borderlands 2?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
So I don't know. Like I'm pretty. Like
There's going to be more of that Tiny Tina person, and I don't care for that one either.
So I really liked Borderlands 2 when it first came out.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
7 years ago.
My tastes have changed since then. I like to think
Significantly.
most people's tastes have changed since then.
Yeah.
And then I played it again last year, along with the pre-sequel with some friends from work.
Pre-sequel is garbage.
Pre-sequel is garbage.
didn't play it.
There's a lot of really bad filler missions
Yeah.
just to pad the game's length.
Yeah.
But yeah, playing it then, I enjoyed it because of who I was playing with,
Sure.
not because of the game.
Yeah.
And I feel like I could enjoy who I'm playing with while playing a game I'm enjoying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It already came out, but I played Demon Souls some,
Hell yeah.
and I played a little bit of Dark Souls 1,
Hell yeah.
but I didn't really get more into the Souls series, and I didn't like I wasn't good at it, so I didn't super enjoy it.
It spooked you.
But I've been watching a lot of like Sekiro stuff,
Cool.
Yeah.
That game looks badass.
and yeah, like I honestly I honestly really want to play it. I know it's gonna be tough, and I'm like
I want to play it too.
Yeah.
and I'm probably gonna suck at it for a long time. But I think that like
Are you good at parries in video games?
no.
Okay, because it's a lot of parries. It's a lot of up close, not as much dodging as you get
Hell
in the
yes.
Souls games.
Yeah, that's one of the things. I was like, man, like that. Like I like that the verticality is added to it, like compared to the Souls games.
Yeah,
and
you have a
then-
jump button.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just think it might be more like a difficult game that's more up my alley.
So like they obviously like they worked on the Tenchu series and they obviously took a lot from Tenchu for this game. That's what excites me about this.
Also, I would love a new Tenchu, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I might get,
Ricky Maru.
Yeah.
I think I might get that.
Oh yeah, I'm really surprised like Birdo's not already playing it. I'm surprised Ryan's not already playing it.
Well, Birdo
Budgetary constraints, my friend.
Sure.
And Birdo has a huge backlog of games right now.
Huge.
Huge.
No, I've also aside from the aforementioned budgetary constraints, I've also resigned to myself to not buying any new video games until I finish the ones that I'm already playing.
Yeah, because Birdo's still doing Pokemon.
Not me.
Birdo's still doing Pokemon Ultra
Sun.
Ultra Sun, and then doing the competitive Pokemon battling,
Yeah.
and then he's playing Apex Legends,
Apex.
Not
Apex.
Apex.
Apex Legends, and then some other game with his friends, and then he's also been playing Anthem,
Mm-hmm.
and then what else? And then he still has like a bunch of games they got from Christmas that he hasn't touched.
You got video games for Christmas?
That's cool.
That sounds real cool.
I didn't get any video games for Christmas.
Nor did I.
My family gave me video games for his Christmas and birthday.
How did your family feel about me? Because I'd like some video games.
Yeah.
If I told my mom that you really wanted something, she probably would buy it.
Your
Mrs.
mom's-
H.
Yeah, Mrs. H, you're so cool.
Yeah.
Gee whiz, thanks, Mrs. H.
Her name's Rhonda.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I'm respectful to my
Help me,
elders.
Rhonda.
Yeah.
Oh, she hates that song.
Well,
Rhonda was also the name of the lady who hosted USA Up All Night.
yeah.
So
Yeah. So yeah.
Rhoda was Mary Tyler Moore's friend.
yeah, she got her own show later
Yeah.
called Rhoda.
So yeah, this
The
week,
titular Rhoda, Shanae.
Sure.
I got it. Thanks. This week Tom's gonna lead the conversation.
That's the name of the episode. The
But-
titular Rhoda.
Sure. Can the thumbnail be a picture of her?
Are we legally allowed to do that?
Yeah.
We used Charles Dutton that last time, so.
Yeah, I think we used Drake once.
Well, hold on. Well, yes. Also, speaking of Charles Dutton, I want to say that I recently watched the movie Legion.
Okay.
You guys know what that movie is?
I saw it in theaters. I don't really remember it.
Okay, so it's a movie starring Charles Dutton, Lucas Black. You may remember him as the child from Sling Blade, Dennis Quaid, and Paul Bettany as the titular Legion. And
Who's Paul Bettany?
he's a English actor who's good at smoldering looks.
Could we get more Bill Bellamy?
Probably not.
Okay.
It seems
right.
like his career hasn't done so well.
Okay.
But I think that may also be in our favor because we could probably get him on the show. But it's about Paul Bettany plays an angel who God has told the angels to kill all the humans, and Paul Bettany's like, no.
Yeah, destroy all humans.
Yeah, destroy all humans.
Okay.
And Paul Bettany's like, no, I'm gonna save humans from the angels. So he fights angels to protect a lady, and Charles Dutton dies.
Bayonetta also fights angels.
Yeah.
So,
So basically the same plot.
yeah.
Yeah, Bettinetta.
Yeah.
So
That was a good one. So basically, we talked in the past about doing episodes where we talk for the whole episode about a specific developer
hell yeah.
or a specific game.
Hell yeah.
And I want to talk about Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
Breath of the Wild is about 2 years old now. I have not played it in about 2 years. And this week I started playing through it again from the beginning. And I just want to talk about it.
I have not played it, so
Yeah.
I will be piggybacking on whatever you guys have to say about it.
That's okay. Sinead had to piggyback on Stadia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
have
Fair
not-
warning, it's a 2-year-old game. There will be spoilers. So-
Ganon is the bad guy, and you kill him
Yeah.
at the end,
Yeah. It's
right?
probably been like a year and a half.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably been a year and a half since I played Zelda.
Zelda is the princess.
Sure.
Or Breath of the
The
Wild.
titular Zelda.
Like, isn't the ending to? I want to use this to reinforce the fact that I've never played it. I don't know a whole lot about Zelda.
Okay.
But
Go on.
would it be fair to assume
Yes.
that in every Zelda game,
Yes.
the end of the game is Ganon dies?
No.
Okay.
Would not be safe to assume that.
Okay.
There are several games with no Ganon, no Zelda.
Okay, what are the percentage of Legend of Zelda? Wait, hold on. There are the Legend of Zelda games with no Zelda contained
Correct.
wherein.
Correct.
But it's the legend of her, you see.
Is Zelda mentioned in those games?
Hard to say.
Probably.
Hard to say, dude. It's been too long.
Huh. Okay.
Probably at least indirectly.
Yeah.
Proceed.
Well, I mean, I guess, like, Shana, you played the game.
Yes.
Talk about it. What are some of your favorite things? What do you like about it? What do you hate about it?
Well, we talked about it at length when we both played it like 2 years ago, and I still feel like
But, like, I want to, like, dig into it, you know? Like,
so
Real deep.
things that
balls deep.
Yeah.
things that I liked about it that I can remember. So I definitely, I mean, so things we liked about it, like we talked about is I liked how organic the gameplay was, how easy it was to go from like kind of one activity to the next, and it not be like sluggish. Like it felt like you were exploring the world, like you felt like you were Link. I didn't like I'm pretty good with like grinding stuff and like not being annoyed by it. So I liked like the cooking aspects of it. Looking back now, like I know why it's part of the gameplay and I get it, but it was kind of annoying like how often I destroyed my weapons and had to like re-equip them.
Okay.
At least in the beginning part of it before you get like more durable stuff
Yeah.
and like kind of get like what's going on down.
Sure. I mean, you start off with the branch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked the scenery. I liked, all the kind of different areas and the different people and the different cultures you went through. I still
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. You said different cultures?
Yeah, because there's like fish people.
It's like not all, but a lot of Zelda games. There's Zoras and Gorons and Gerudo and Rito and all that.
How about Rhoda?
There's Rhoda, sure.
Okay.
But I did feel
She's there.
I don't know. Maybe it's because of how I like. I don't want to keep using it, but I guess like I kind of like I don't really have a better like terminology for it. But I guess like, because of how organic the gameplay was, it did feel a lot different than previous Zelda games.
I mean, it is a lot different, right?
Like interacting with those like with like the Zora and the Gorons and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it really felt like I'm in this town, like I'm doing this. Like I don't know. It just like was a lot more exciting as far as like coming across like all the different characters.
And you don't have to, right? Like you never have to see a Zora if you don't want to.
Yeah.
And you never have to see a Goron if you don't want to.
Yeah. And like, I mean, you can beat the game almost instantly if you want to.
If you're good enough, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you just go straight to the lava pit. So, but yeah, I don't know as far as like deep dive, like kind of wanting just because I thought there was like something specific you wanted to talk about.
I mean, I want to talk about a little bit of everything, right? Like, I think my favorite thing about the game is that it gives you a lot of very simple freedoms, like we said, you never have to go to Zora's Domain. If you don't want to, you don't have to, right? They implement this climbing mechanic that is great. It launched around the same time as Horizon Zero Dawn, right? And people that played both, their biggest complaint about Horizon Zero Dawn is that you can't climb everything, so you felt restricted.
You can climb very few things.
But you can climb everything in Breath of the Wild. You can beat that game without climbing a single thing, choice like that. There is no mission that you have to do other than defeat Ganon, right? The order of operations, right? In traditionally in Zelda games, you got to go get your hook shot and then go get, this item and that item to be able to progress. Whereas this is like, no, that's all out the window. And I really like that. Like, it was very risky, right? So it was a risky game for them to make because so many staples are just gone. They're just not there,
And I remember before the game came out, people were already like shitting on the game, and people we know on social media after it came out were just like shitting on it because it's something new and different.
Yeah,
sounds suspiciously close to not Breath of the Wild, Wind Waker, in that respect.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference between this and Wind Waker was a game that people at its release were just like, yeah, this is not what I want. Fuck this game, whatever, right? Whereas Breath of the Wild is one of the highest rated games ever made.
Yeah.
And I think for good reason. I think it does open world better than any other open world game. And I think that's a bold claim because there's a lot of good open world games out there,
Yeah.
But like, it is that freedom, right? You can climb a tower like you do in most other open world games, but it doesn't fill out your map for you. You find your objectives. Because you are high, you can see things and mark them on your map, and you go to them. There's nothing that is marked on your map for you that is not quest related. And even then, most of the time, it's you that is finding those things,
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
You mentioned a moment ago about how the game gives you the choice about what you want to do. Like there are people in the game that you don't ever have to meet, and there are things in the game that you don't ever have to do.
Yeah.
Does the game do a good job of incentivizing you to do those things?
Yeah, it's interesting because for a game that's so non-linear, it does a very good job of naturally directing you where you want to go. Like, I would assume that 90% of the people that play this game probably go to Zora's Domain first of the 4 divine beasts.
Yeah.
Why is that?
That's just kind of where the game naturally leads you.
It's like one of the closest areas. There are like quests and accomplishments and stuff like that.
Right.
That you do, and they like start taking you closer and closer to there. So you are like or some of them directly to there.
Right.
So if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, because like naturally, when you talk to the king, he tells you to go to Kakariko, right? To talk to Impa. And that's like headed in that direction, kind of, you know? But like, you don't have to listen to him. You don't have to go over there, you know?
Yeah, and then like while you're in that, like even if you just like go there just like to talk to that one person, there are like a bunch of like just exploring the environment, going to there,
Right.
things that you'll collect, like, and then what are they called? The little challenges?
The shrines?
The shrines.
Mhm.
Shrines. Like there's shrines and stuff that you'll see. So like, and I don't know, it does also a really good job even with the placement of the shrines. Like if you go into one and like a lot of them are on like a little hill or like a little instep that you can kind of see further out.
Yeah, for sure. And then there's a bunch that are completely hidden that you would are very difficult to find, right?
And you need a guide for.
Well, that's last episode Ryan was talking about playing Monster Hunter and having to capture those critters and them giving you very vague information about it. And the reason I was asking if there's any like riddles or something that would lead you to those is because like Cass in Breath of the Wild does exactly that. He gives you a riddle to tell you how to find a lot of these shrines, and it's really weird, obscure things that you can discover without ever talking to him,
Yeah.
But it's like stand at this point in the shadow of this tower at this time of day and shoot an arrow into the sun.
Right.
Like shit like that, which is great. But I think like the biggest complaint that I remember seeing of this game was the dungeons or lack thereof.
That's another Legend of Zelda staple too, right?
Yeah. And there are technically dungeons. The 4 divine beasts kind of act as that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you've got 4 main dungeons, but you've got 120 of these shrines, which are kind of like mini dungeons, And I think like I feel like it was a smart decision to do that because there's 120 of them. They're kind of all over the place, like Sinead was saying. As you're traversing the landscape, you're coming across them pretty regularly, and it breaks up. Like in all Zelda games before, it was go from point A to point B, get this item, go to this dungeon, get that item, and like there was a very clear distinction in gameplay between traversing and exploring, and then dungeon.
Right.
And then traversing and exploring, and then dungeon. And because you're constantly coming across these shrines, and they are so short, to me it feels like you're getting a good mix at all times.
Right.
What I don't like about the dungeons is that there's basically no enemies other than like the little mini guardians inside them, And that goes for the divine beasts as well. Like there's the tiny guardians and then like the weird floaty head guys, and that's it.
Okay, so I might have missed it when you were describing it, but what is my main motivation or incentive for doing these shrines?
So for every 4 you get this orb. No, for every single one you get an orb. For every 4 orbs you can either upgrade your hearts or your stamina.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you also get items that you can use. You can get weapons from them that are only in there, and then you also can get other items to make other gear because they're kind of like robots.
Yeah, the game deals a lot with like technology and over reliance on technology, and how that can be a bad thing.
Legend of Zelda Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Sort of,
There's,
sort of in a weird way.
Okay.
They're like little octopus creatures, or octopus robot things for a lot of them, and some of them like you'll see them from afar and they're like in the ground and they look like rusted out and like they're not active, and some of them aren't active and some of them are.
Okay.
And you don't know until you awaken one.
Yeah.
And sometimes that was really annoying when I was like trying to gather stuff and I'm just like, oh, I'm just gonna cook this stuff. And then, like all of a sudden, I just get one-shotted from the back.
Yeah, they kill you real fast early in game.
Oh yeah, they they just like, and it's like really easy to not be like super leveled up because like in the beginning of the game when you have to go through the mountains and like you can get that clothing that protects you from cold. I didn't do that at first.
The
like,
warm doublet.
Yeah, I didn't do that at first. I just made a bunch of spicy food that can keep you warm. And so I just like, and I didn't follow the path either. I was like, I'm going to climb this mountain. And I kept dying. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a bunch of spicy food. I just want to see what's on the other
You
side.
were dying because you would freeze to death?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like when you're in hot stuff, you can overheat. When you're in cold, you can freeze to death. Yeah. So, but like you can cook food to counteract that. You can get gear that counteract that. But yeah, so I just didn't know, like, I didn't really want to follow the main quest. I just wanted to explore because everything was so pretty and it was like really cool that you can cut down a tree and it like the tree, and like the tree will be like a bridge and you can like move that around and push it to different places.
Okay, so that sounds super lame, right? Because a ton of games would let you do something like that. But in Breath of the Wild, it's not like a specific obvious tree. Any tree along that bank you can cut down and it'll work.
Well, see,
you know.
So it's funny that you should say that because something that I've been thinking about since the start of this conversation is when Skyrim came to Switch, they were like, hey, by the way, we're giving you Link's outfit in Skyrim.
Yeah.
Which the funny thing about that to me
It was hideous.
Well, there's that, but also like even having not played Breath of the Wild, everything that I hear about it and everything that I've seen for that game has told me that they've crafted a more interesting open world than has ever existed in any Elder Scrolls game.
In my opinion, yes. I think there's a lot of people that would disagree with that.
I think it sounds like, and again, this is an inference that I formed having not played the game.
Right.
And I think that, and don't get me wrong, like I have, I'm a huge Elder Scrolls fan.
Yeah.
But you talked earlier about
Wind Waker.
Yeah. You just came up with $1 million idea.
That's Shanae's game.
Yeah. Good job, Shanae.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So you talked earlier about little freedoms, right? And these are things, and it's funny that you say that because these are things that the things that you're talking about are things that playing an Elder Scrolls game, or many other open world games for that matter, are things that it never occurred to me to be able to do those things in that game.
Right.
And then you tell me about these things that you can do in Breath of the Wild, and I think about my time with games like Skyrim or Skyrim specifically. Yeah. Where like, man, I wish I could do that in Skyrim.
Right.
I think about how much more the overused word, but how much more immersive Skyrim would be if I could do those things. If I did have to take temperature into account, especially considering the fact that like there are different areas of that game like that have different kinds of weather and implied that temperatures are different.
But it goes deep though, right? Like they did a GDC talk maybe last year, maybe the year before about this game and talking about implementing science, but not like science that is realistic, science that seems realistic and is fun.
Like seems realistic to the layman.
Right. And is fun to have, right?
Right.
And what I mean by that is like you're talking about how weather can affect things, right? So it's like Shanae said, you go somewhere where it's too cold, you can freeze. You go somewhere where it's too hot, you'll start burning up. There's a lightning storm and you're carrying something metal, you'll get zapped. Like, sure. So they go really deep with that idea. So much, in fact, where like, if you have a fire sword and it's on your back, that's going to keep you warm because it would probably keep you warm, right.
If you use a fire sword in a dry area that has a lot of brush, you'll catch it on fire.
Yeah, if you have to connect electrical circuits, there's a way that you're intended to do those puzzles, but you could also just make a line of metal objects connecting those circuits.
Sure.
Take your weapons off and your armor off and put them on the floor to connect those circuits, and that works.
Yeah.
Fire creates an updraft, like, things of that nature.
Yeah, the first time I came across that, lightning area.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that like the metal from my sword would like.
Oh, it warns you. It starts like sparking up a bit.
Yeah, I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. I was like, what's going on? And then I'm like fighting things, and I get like zapped And I was like, what the? And so I drop it, and it's still like electrified, and
Yeah.
and I like hit it again.
Yeah.
And the only non-metal item I had was a leaf. So I'm in that area just having to fight with a leaf until I can get back out. Get me a non-metal weapon that's
Yeah.
like somewhat decent.
Like Momodora, she fights with the leaf.
It's like if same thing. Like if you're in a really hot area and you have wooden weapons, they're gonna start burning up.
Right.
It's little things like that don't seem that significant, but like as a whole put together, it's pretty significant.
Yeah.
And it's not even just like original concepts like that. It's technological steps forward that other games could probably do. Like in Fallout 4, which is roughly the same age as Breath of the Wild,
Right.
running on much better technology, Switch would not run Fallout 4, right? If you go into a building, there's loading.
Right.
There's not in Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild, you just open the door and you go in.
I was gonna ask about that.
Yeah.
Which is a small thing, but like a bunch of things like that add up.
I mean, is it a small thing though? Like the idea of like when you make something seamless like that, right? And it makes it so much easier to not get taken out of it, right? Because like when you're really invested in the experience that you're having on screen, and you feel like again, I'm gonna use the word immersed. You feel immersed in it, right? And then a loading screen can take you right out of it.
Yeah.
At least for the time that it's loading.
Yeah.
And having something where I can go from one area to another, like open a door, go into a room without having to stare at a loading screen. I mean,
and there are loading screens in the game. Like
Sure.
there are areas you will enter that will take you to a loading screen. Every shrine takes you to a loading screen.
I was gonna say like is it like shrine, or if it's about to be like a cutscene.
Right.
I was about to say something, but I just totally blanked. Oh yeah. So as far as like that goes, like I played it on the Wii U.
Yeah.
So I don't know about the experience on Switch. Very rarely did I have any problems with it like rendering. Like even when I'm like doing something that like I go to a high place and like I hang glide down to an area. Very rarely did I ever have like times where it wouldn't
like pop in and stuff like that.
Yeah, or like just kind of like slowly roll in.
Right.
Like sometimes I'd be a little bit too fast for it, and it would just kind of like mist, and then everything would pop.
Right.
Yeah. So,
And that happens on Switch as well.
and it's like, but it's still very rarely. Like I know it has happened, and it also happens whenever that like castle in the middle with all the columns in the first area you're in. It happened a lot with that when I first started the game. But after that, it didn't really happen too terribly often unless I was hang gliding over a long distance.
So I am interested in how it runs on Wii U because, like, with Switch, when it's docked, it's running at a higher resolution, right?
Yeah.
So when you're playing the Switch version docked and you go into like a heavily wooded area, there can be some drop in frame rate. It's never that bad, but it exists. Whereas if you're playing it handheld, it only has to display at 720, so that doesn't happen as much. On the Wii U, do you lose frames when you're in like the Lost Woods or anything, or like the Korok Woods or anything like that?
Not really,
Yeah.
but not that I can like remember really.
Not significant enough that it would. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mainly played it on the TV. I did have to, obviously I had to play with that giant paddle, which like
Paddle. The Nintendo paddle.
Well, that's what it is basically.
Yeah.
So
I have to ask if you mean tablet.
yeah, the tablet with the screen and stuff.
Okay.
But like we talked about it before, like just how nice the shooting the arrows are with the motion controls.
Yeah.
It's just so good. It works so much better than like basically any other motion control.
Because it's fine adjustment, You're still aiming with the right analog stick.
Yeah.
But it's fine adjustment, What I did not like the motion controls is like the specific shrines that had like the motion puzzles where you're like rolling the ball and all that.
Oh.
I hated those.
Yes.
But like if you're smart about it, not all of them, but a lot of them you can completely avoid. Did you ever turn your controller completely upside down?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. No, I did that.
So that makes you feel smart.
Yeah, but I only knew that because I was like, man, I'm not getting this puzzle. Like, so I was looking up how somebody else was doing it because I was gonna try and get all the shrines.
Yeah.
But I gave up on that pretty quickly. But yeah, so I looked up on that. I was like, oh, I can just.
Have you
Okay.
found the ones where like if you turn it over, it's completely spiked on the bottom? So like you can't do that on certain ones?
Not that I can remember.
What I like about that is that those spikes exist because they
thought about
knew
it.
that people would try to do that shit, you know? And that's so neat to me that like they predict people are going to do all these things, you know? Make airships and like ride bears and like just do ridiculous things, you know?
Also, like I'm not like a traditional horse girl, but I did like that they had to like charm the ponies.
Yeah.
You know, you say that.
Did you drive ever?
Did I drive? No.
I'm not talking about the DLC motorcycle, but like with a minecart and a metal chest with the magnesis, you can drive around like it's a little car. And they never
That-
tell you that. That's just something you find out on your own, you know?
Yeah, no, I never did that.
Yeah.
I was horses only.
Yeah.
You know, this game sounds huge. It sounds like it's got a lot going on in it. And from what I understand, like the file size is like insane. Is like really small.
Yeah, it's not a very big file size. Like if you compared to most modern open world games, it's not very big. But like, you know, the textures are way simpler,
Right.
Like there's a lot of caveats. It's not displaying in as high of a resolution. Like, you know, I still think it looks better than a lot of those games because of the art direction. But you know, that's subjective.
Oh, I wish though that you could skip the cooking animation.
Oh yeah, because you do have to watch that every time,
Yeah,
and it is very
and-
charming.
How
But
long is it?
it's not that long.
But it's like, but it has like a little tune to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you have to
I
like
like
listen.
that.
So you have to, but like listening to it over and over and over again is a little maddening.
Yeah. See, I guess it doesn't bother me that much because like I rarely cook.
Yeah, I cooked a lot. Like I said, I got
Yeah.
over that mountain with only
Like
spicy
you're
food.
talking about horses. Like I almost never use a horse.
Yeah, I even went out and was like trying to get the fastest
Yeah.
horses.
Can Link get hungry?
No,
Okay.
there's nothing like that as far as survival goes.
Okay.
But yeah, like outside of the early game, I never found a need for a horse. You know, just fast travel everywhere. But
I like to find all like the fun stuff, and I like traversing it because there's like
yeah,
little rock giants and stuff that I missed before.
yeah, and I've heard people say like, don't ever fast travel in this game. Like just walk everywhere. I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
Is
I
that horse
just-
fun to drive?
It's like every other fucking video game horse, man. It's like old. Like, do you ever play Ocarina of Time
Yeah.
with the little spurs?
Yeah.
You know, it's like that. It's
I don't
the
know.
same
I've-
mechanic.
I've had some pretty fun horses to drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean I like
I mean, I prefer aggro from Shadow of the Colossus over these horses.
Skyrim
But
and Oblivion have bad horses.
yeah,
I like that there was different speeds for the horses.
D horse is fun to drive.
And different amount of spurs on the horses. Like they had their own stats.
yeah.
I like that you could like name them and can put them in your little like stable.
Nah, don't name them because you'll be sadder when they die.
I like that you could. Yeah.
Can your horse die?
I don't know actually.
You can make it run away.
I bombed a horse and it didn't die.
Okay.
Yeah, you can make it run away. Like we were talking about updraft, like with the fire. Like if you cause a fire and there's like an updraft and your horse is like in the way of it, it'll like run away. And it also can like lose affection for you. So if you like keep like fucking around with your horse and it hates you, it will run away and not try and listen to you.
Sure.
And it's a little bit more realistic in that like in Shadow of the Colossus, I can be on one side of the Forbidden Lands and my horse on the completely other side, and I can whistle for it and it will come.
Yeah.
Whereas in Breath of the Wild, the horse has to be relatively near you to be able to hear you to come.
There's like a range.
Did you get any of like the special horses,
Yes.
like the mystical ones? Which
Yes.
ones did you get?
I don't remember which one. It's been so long.
Did you get? I forget what it's called. It's like
Well, I think
it's like the god of the mountain or like the beast of the mountain or something like that. Did you get that one? The glowing one?
Can you ride a
Not-
bear?
You can ride a bear, but you can't keep a bear.
Lame.
I don't know if I just tried to go after it or if I actually got it.
So that one's like it's like what the little blue glowing things that you find?
Yeah, no.
It's like that, but it's a horse-sized one with like 4 eyes and horns,
That sounds badass.
and
Is he on
it
fire
has
too?
unlimited stamina.
Yeah.
Are there any flaming horses?
But you can't stable it. There's like some weird skeleton flames horse,
Cool.
but I never got that one.
That sounds
Yeah, 'cause
badass.
that
Get
was
that
like-
one.
because I was like getting into the horses, and I thought it was like pretty fun. So I was like looking up the different ones that you can get,
Yeah.
and like where to find them.
You got the giant one?
No, I did not. But I just went after like the fastest ones that they didn't have to replenish stamina.
Yeah.
So I think like I went after it, but I don't know if I actually got it. Like,
I mean, you can't stable it anyway.
yeah. So
And like pretty much as soon as you get off of it, it disappears.
yeah. So I don't remember that. Though this conversation is making me want to go back to it.
Did you get the Master Sword or the Hylian Shield?
Hylian Shield.
Yeah. Not the Master Sword.
Not that I can remember.
So
It has been a year and a half, and I have the memory of a goldfish.
the shield breaks, right? Which is kind of disappointing.
Is it supposed to?
I mean, yeah, it's all the shields break.
So that wait,
but
before
Yeah, that's another.
you would think that if one wasn't going to break, it would be that
the
one.
legendary one.
Right.
Yeah.
The Master Sword does not break.
Okay. So let's say I have a sword or some weapon that I found prior to the Master Sword,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm really into that weapon.
Right.
It sounds to me like I'm gonna be disappointed because that thing is gonna break eventually.
Correct.
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah, like there's like a lot
So
of.
don't get invested in any weapon. 'Cause
Yes.
all of them will leave you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even ones you spend hours grinding for, collecting things for, finally build.
I see.
You're talking about the ancient weapons.
Yep.
Yeah. But I mean, their durability is pretty good though, right?
Yeah, it
and
is.
like,
How is durability measured? Is it like a number? Is it a meter or what?
yeah,
It's a number.
there's a number for attack strength and for durability.
And so like, does it like just tick down every time you hit something with it?
You don't really see it. Like, there's nothing on screen telling you that it's losing durability until a message will pop up that says, "Hey, your thing's about to break."
I see.
You know.
And it's not even just fighting; it's like using it to cut down trees.
Yeah.
And so
Break
other-
rocks, whatever else.
Does it like look different as it degrades?
No.
or- Okay.
Mm-mm. But it does break pretty cool. And when it's
like it
about to break, you
shatters.
can throw it at an enemy and it'll do a lot of damage.
That sounds
Yeah,
cool.
well,
Story wise, what did you think? Meh.
I wasn't like really playing it for the story.
Have you played other Legend of Zelda games to completion before?
Yes.
Okay.
I think the story is just okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of characters that I really like in the story.
Yeah.
A lot of people complain about the voice acting. I've been playing the first time I played it in English. This time I'm playing it in Japanese.
Does Link talk?
No.
Okay.
And I think the Japanese VO is significantly better.
I didn't have a problem with the voice acting. It's not like that's ever been like Legend of Zelda's like appeal is the voice acting.
Well, it's never had voice acting.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
Yeah.
like, so I don't really care that it's there, and I don't really expect it to be fantastic. It doesn't like, I don't know, it doesn't change my mind about the gameplay, the story, or anything like that, because the story is whatever. You're the hero. There's a villain. Stop him. Like,
But I
Yeah,
think the writing goes beyond that. Like, I think the writing is good. Just the story is not that good. And I think some of the voice acting is really good, depending on what language you're playing it in. But like,
What is the story? Give me a summary of what it is.
so 1,000 years ago, Ganon attacks Hyrule, and she could prepare by building these things called guardians and all that, and divine beasts from different regions come to help, and Ganon is defeated. Flash forward to the future, and Ganon's coming again, so they try to do the same plan. It fails. Link is put into stasis for 100 years. You then awaken with no memory, and you're trying to, stop that from happening.
oh yeah, and Ganon's taken over the Divine Beast.
Yes, Ganon's taken over the Divine Beast and all the Guardians and all that.
Is the game called Breath of the Wild because it's just out in the wild?
It's called Breath of the Wild because this is at the very end of the timeline, and Hyrule is just like torn apart. It's much more primitive feeling than other Zelda games,
Yeah.
which is weird because it has the most tech of any Zelda game. But yeah,
Yeah, well, I'm excited for that Legend of Zelda tech game, or we see them like when they're in control of all the Guardians.
yeah,
But yeah, like cathedrals and stuff are like in ruins.
you see the Temple of Time almost immediately, and it's torn apart. You
Yeah.
know,
like I was saying, but those Guardians, like you'll see them from afar and they're like rusted out and they look like they're nothing, but they could still be active. Like there's things like that kind of all over.
Even Hyrule Castle, when you finally go in there, it's all fucked up and shit. You know.
Sure. So next new Zelda game, you think it'll be like this?
Yeah, pretty positive it will be. So Monolith helped with the development of this game, and they are hiring for the next Zelda game.
Okay.
Now they've made Zelda games in the past, like they helped with Skyward Sword.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them straying away from this too far.
Okay.
You know. As far as characters, like I thought Rivali was really well written. The Rito Guardian guy. Like he's kind of snarky. He's not impressed by Link, you know. Like I really liked his character quite a bit.
I know very little about Legend of Zelda, but I know those to be the bird people.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that you can make your own little town.
Terrytown?
Yeah.
Yeah, Terrytown's probably everyone's favorite quest line. It's really cool. Did you do the Hylian homeowner?
Where you buy a house?
Yeah, like you have to do that to start off, but like did you completely upgrade that house?
I can't remember, so I'm gonna say no.
Okay. So
I feel
like
like if I did, I would remember.
what I like about the house is that there's no stash like there is in Diablo, right? You have this inventory that very quickly fills up. And you're like, well, where do I put all these other weapons? Or where do I put about these really valuable weapons? Like, where do I put these that I don't want to fucking lose? And if you do that, you can store a few of them,
Yeah.
which is nice.
They have like little wall spaces, and like you can like hang your stuff on the wall, like for decoration.
Yeah.
You have like a little garden and a little like sign that says like Link's house.
Yeah. I liked Cass a lot, the Rito that plays the accordion that tells you about all the hidden shrines.
Yeah.
While the character's not like super developed, like is just a very charming character, and every time you hear that music, you know he's around, and it's very, very pleasing. And then I really liked Mifa. Mifa was the Zora guardian.
Yeah.
Who like they obviously had a romantic relationship.
Cool.
Which I think is really cool because like the assumption is always Zelda, right? And very rarely is it actually Zelda, but like that's always the assumption, right?
Yeah.
Whereas here it's obviously not. I like that like there's a lot of people that don't like you. Like they think it's your fault that shit's the way it is, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty neat.
I like the on the Gorons,
Mhm.
like all the family members, because
Yeah.
like basically like all the Gorons that you like run into are like related.
It's an incestual clan.
Sure. The hills have Gorons.
Basically, yes. But yeah, I still like I thought it was like super charming, and just like even the way the characters like the different family members reacting to you,
Yeah.
and then how they interact with each other about you, I thought was like pretty fun.
What do you think about Zelda?
Eh?
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 You played in English.
Yeah.
So go back and watch the Switch event Breath of the Wild trailer. Watch the English version, then watch the Japanese version. So you can get both voice actors, you know. There's that scene where she's crying in his arms, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in the English version, it's like just barely a whimper. And in the Japanese version, it's like this fucking blood-curdling cry, you know? And it's so much more effective, man.
I don't know. There's a lot of games where I just like, the Japanese voice acting is so much more interesting. Maybe probably because I don't understand the language, so like I'm having to rely on the stereotypes I know of other games. How
Sure.
the character's supposed to be. Like the perverted old man normally has like a very similar voice. Like all
Right.
that.
And it's funny I say it's better, right? I don't know that it's better because I don't speak Japanese,
Yeah.
right? I get this when I play any game in a different language, playing Metro in Russian or whatever it might be.
Oh.
That might be really horrible voice acting. But like
Yeah.
just the emphasis on things sounds better to me, you know?
Yeah.
As an aside, I recently had to start Persona 5 over.
Yeah.
I lost my save. I'm playing through it in English this time
Yeah.
because I got real curious about it.
Persona typically has good English voice acting.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I played Persona 5 in English.
Like I love Erin Fitzgerald and she did Chie in 4.
Yeah.
But yeah. What did you think about Koroks?
Getting the little Korok seeds.
Yeah.
Some of them were fun. Most of them were not.
900 of them bastards.
Yeah, I didn't try to do that all either. I was fuck that shit. Like I just like same thing with the moons.
You don't need to do anywhere near all of them to upgrade your inventory completely.
I know, but like like the part of me that likes to do completionist stuff is just like I see that number and I'm just like fuck you.
You know what you get if you get all of them?
Nothing.
You get a literal turd. They literally give you a turd. I like them quite a bit. I don't like the reward for them. Like upgrading the inventory slots, I mean,
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to upgrade inventory and all that. You don't really need to in the game, Like you can
Yeah.
hold all the food you want.
Yeah.
The only thing you're upgrading is bows, shields, and weapons,
Which is helpful because you do go through all of those things pretty quickly.
But I like that there's 900 of them, and I like what they are because, like...
Do you like the turd? The literal
No, but and like some of them are super obvious, right? But like I like that there's such variety to them, and it's just you see something out of the corner of your eye, Ryan, and you're like, that looks a little bit off. Mm-hmm. And 9 times out of 10, you go inspect it and fuck around with it, and you find one of these fuckers,
Yeah.
And I like that.
And some of them are like things like just looking at trees at the correct angle at the correct time of day.
Yeah.
And that is what makes it all pop up.
This sounds like a job for Monster Hunter.
And it's just like...
But like most of them are more obvious than that.
Yeah.
Like one of the first ones you see is you see this body of water beneath you, and there's a perfect circle of lily pads. Like, why would there be a perfect circle of lily pads? You jump into it and a Korok appears.
Oh.
Or you'll see like 3 statues. And
are they the little fellows with leaves for faces?
Yeah, they're from the Wind Waker. Yeah, so like you'll see like 3 statues. 2 of them are holding apples. One of them's not. You put an apple in the third one, and it appears like shit like that,
So
but some of them are like you just see 3 trees, kind of like in an area, and it's an area that trees would be at. And it makes sense. And like 2 of them have 2 apples, and one has 3 apples, and like you may not see that you may not like from the angle that you're looking at them at. You may not see that's what's happening.
Right.
Because like the apples are on different sides of the tree.
Yeah.
So you have to go around each tree and then like, oh, okay, and then hit one of the trees to knock off one of the apples or jump up and knock it off.
But if you catch those trees from the right perspective, you can see that they are 3 identical trees. Mm-hmm. And that, that's a bit off. You know what I mean?
But sometimes that perspective has to be like one ledge on a mountain cliff, and you're looking down at it at the right angle, and it's just like, okay.
So I like that a lot. Did you go to the Lost Woods in search of the sword?
No.
No? Okay.
I went there just exploring around.
Yeah. Did the mist get you?
Did you ever see that movie?
Yeah, I hated it.
Okay.
I really didn't like it.
Yeah. They made a TV show out of it.
I can't.
I like the main character of the mist.
Tom Jane?
Well, not so much Thomas Jane. I always feel like Thomas Jane is poor man's Aaron Eckhart.
Yeah, you say that, but
I
don't know.
I like the idea of that character.
Sure.
And anyway,
you guys were talking about the Korok season. Does maybe also think about when you guys were playing Mario Odyssey with the moons.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about it, for me personally, is that modern gaming has made it so that I cannot be bothered to do something like that if a trophy or achievement is not involved.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like, people often refer to them as collectibles, and I see them as something different than a collectible. A collectible, to me, is like the dog tags in The Last of Us.
Right.
Like, that's a collectible.
Oh, man.
You did nothing. You just saw it and picked it up.
Right.
Whereas here, you're doing, to me, something that is not, like, super exciting, but, like, you feel smart because you noticed it.
Right.
And you do something to then get it. And then you can use it to upgrade something.
So besides the upgrades, it's basically like one of those, like, its own reward kind of thing.
Right. And like I said, you don't have to do nearly all of them to fully upgrade your inventory.
Right.
And you don't have to do a single one if you don't want to.
Sure.
Yeah.
Man, I need to get a Switch. The game's
Yeah.
so badass.
You got your girlfriend's Switch. That's kind of yours.
It's funny because she can't play it because it's probably dead because I've been using her Switch charge cable to charge my phone because my charge cable broke.
That's funny.
So I'm glad that they're compatible.
USB-C.
Yeah.
So I think my biggest complaint, I don't know, I guess I shouldn't complain about it because I bitch about other people complaining about similar things. There's so many Zelda staples that I wish were there that are just not.
Name 3.
Music, right? Like the game has music and it has some old Zelda music, but it's very infrequent.
Does it have that old Zelda tune? You know, that Zelda tune that's in all of them?
Yeah, it's there, sparsely, you know, which I think it's smart that there's not a lot of music because, like,
You're doing a lot and you're like in areas for a long time, and I feel like a lot of that music would not be as fun to hear all the time.
yeah, exactly, right? Because you choose when you are where you are,
Right.
and music is typically cued by location in video games.
Right.
So if you're going across the same area over and over and over again, you're going to listen to that song for a 150-hour game, you know? I mean, I get why they did what they did. I just miss it. Like opening a chest.
Yeah, that's...
But like at the same time, you open thousands of chests.
You want to hear that 1,000
You know what I
times?
mean? So like, but I wish like just do that with like certain chests.
Does it do the
Really,
Yeah.
really special chests maybe, you know?
Yes.
Does it make the sound it makes when you open a hidden wall?
Yes,
Okay.
that does happen.
Okay.
Not always, but it does happen.
What's the next thing?
There are items that I miss. I would like a hook shot,
Sure.
Mhm.
Hookshot.
you know? Like that would be nice.
I understand why they
Hookshot
didn't put it in.
Hookshot
Yeah.
sounds like it would be really cool in this particular game.
It would be, but it would change a lot of gameplay stuff, and they already gave us so much.
And you get an ability that kind of would make it unnecessary.
Yeah.
You know, just things like that, man. Like I said, Zelda staples, you know. But at the same time, I do feel like this is the most Zelda Legend of Zelda game. Like it is the most like the first game of any of them.
Right.
You know.
And it's just super intuitive, super like organic gameplay. Like, I don't know. It's just like, and like, yeah, little freedoms like throughout everything. And like I can be excited about being able to chop down any tree I want. Any tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta chop down a lot of trees if you want to build that house in that town.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
You just blow them up though.
Yeah.
What do you think's going on with those great fairies? You think they're having sex with them?
Oh, 100%.
Right?
Yeah. No. Those
Having
are
sex
very...
with Link?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you go to the great fairies to
They're
upgrade your clothing,
Sure.
and you got to pay them.
Yeah.
So that's payment.
Yeah.
but like then it cuts away.
You gotta go to
Typically,
Mint's warehouse to upgrade your clothing.
it typically cuts away on them like either kissing him or like pulling him into their thing,
Uh-oh.
and like
Yeah,
he
'cause-
wakes up like when that cutscene's over, he's like clearly exhausted,
Uh-oh.
you know, and they talk
Yeah.
very
Uh-oh.
sexually at him,
I was under the impression that Link didn't have genitals.
but they're huge, you know, and he's this tiny guy.
Yeah, because like they come
Death
out.
by Snoo Snoo.
They come out of a giant flower, and they're
Yeah.
in like the center of it,
Nice.
just like lounging, and they're like,
They're bedazzled, bejeweled.
Man.
yeah, they're very,
Yeah.
they're glistening.
Yeah.
Oh man.
They're like, and they'll like use like the petals to be like turned down. 'cause
I
it's,
just don't know how you would have sex with a woman that large and actually be able to pleasure her.
maybe you
Walking
shouldn't.
into it.
I guess you.
You'd have to walk into it, right?
probably-
He would have to walk into it.
You probably shouldn't play this game in front of your grandma.
Yeah. Sandy?
Yeah.
yeah, and they're like,
What
they
game
very
was
much-
that?
I think he was playing.
Senran Kagura.
I think he was playing. Yeah, either Senran, maybe Peach Beach Splash. One of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't play in front of your grandma.
Yeah, so like, they've moaned. They definitely.
I know they
moan.
do moan, right?
And
And,
like, and they're like, so they're like, the petal is like turned down,
they're super into him.
and they have like their arms
What's this game
crossed,
rated?
and they're like boobs
I
are
don't
just
know.
on the arms.
Yeah.
Like they're very sexy.
There's a lot of
They're
there's a
very
lot of weird
sexy.
characters like that though, right? Like the Great Fairies, they're probably having sex with you and you're paying them, but they're upgrading shit for you.
Yeah.
So return the favor. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, did you do the bowling?
There's bowling in this.
Yeah.
Shit. What area is that in?
It's in the coldest area.
What are you bowling?
you're throwing snowballs at like these giant totems.
Yeah.
It's like one of the easiest ways to make a lot of money in the game.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I definitely did that.
So there's this guy, Ryan, who lives in the coldest area in this world.
Sure.
He's not concerned about what's going on with Ganon or anything like that.
Right.
He cares about bowling, and he really loves seeing you bowl
Yeah.
and do well at it.
Right.
And he's some sort of eccentric billionaire because he's got unlimited money to give you for doing this, you know?
So he just wants to watch you bowl.
Yeah, like he's super psyched to watch you bowl.
Does he want you to wear
He doesn't want to
anything
bowl.
Specifically?
Huh?
Did he want you to wear anything specific?
I mean, you got to wear warm weather clothes, but
Sure.
that's not on his request. It's so you don't die.
Right.
Or you eat
but-
spicy food.
Yeah, there's just really weird people like that.
What's this man's name?
I don't remember.
Huh.
I don't remember.
Yeah, there definitely are they're just giant fucking weirdos out there.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
It sounds like my
It
kind of
really
game.
is.
Like, yeah, it's just like most people wouldn't think about that but when you actually pick apart the characters and think like, this is just some fucking billionaire that wants to see you bowl. It's very very weird.
Yeah, I was also definitely wanting to mention the Great Fairies and how weird they are.
Yeah, I mean, I love them. I love them.
Yeah, they love you too, man.
They are
do.
some of the coolest character models in the game.
Yeah.
You know.
The very sexy giant fairy ladies in the plants.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think that the way that they come out is fucking awesome and like over the top and like they're just very very interesting.
And like when they come out, like especially at, like the area that you're in is kind of like a glade, so it's kind of dark around it, and then they have like little firefly things around them.
Well, it depends on which one, because the one near Terrytown is like super well lit, you know.
Oh yeah, true. But but normally when they come out, like they are very bright. Not only are they glistening, but they're also like radiant.
Yeah,
Nice.
Like-
radiant's a good word.
Yeah.
It's
Like-
a good word.
They're glowing.
Yeah,
Sure.
you can't take your eyes off of them.
Yeah.
You
Or
know?
their giant boobs that they push up on their petals.
Yeah, or their giant boobs.
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah.
very boobs.
Yeah. Is the game rated M?
No,
No, it's not.
it's probably like T. I'm not positive.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. I just really wanted to talk about that game.
Cool.
Yeah, this conversation made me want to go back and play it.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm about 40 hours deep in my second time playing it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to restart because I don't like for sure on everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our views on Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
I feel like I've played it.
Yeah. So I have another game,
Okay.
also untitled.
What do you mean another game? This is the first game we're playing this week.
Yeah.
Oh, another new game in our series of games.
Sure.
Okay.
So this one.
I'll give it a title. What do we do?
So this one, I'm gonna name movies, and I want you to say if they made a video game based off that movie or not.
So yes or no?
We're gonna be good at this, Ryan.
Yeah. I've seen all the videos.
I feel like this is just who's faster.
Wait. Okay, let me make sure I understand. Movies and whether or not there's a video game about that movie.
Was a video game made based off that movie? And
Game based off movie, not movie based off game.
Got it.
yeah. So like, and I'm gonna disqualify mini games
Huh?
and mobile games that say that they are like a part of it.
Yes.
But like,
You have to, right?
yeah, like,
Yeah.
like
That's where those exist now.
Yeah.
Like that's where licensed games exist now.
Yeah. There's a mobile game based on the 2014 reboot of RoboCop. So
cool.
a
Game
cover
Boy RoboCop. Probably my favorite video game song. That main theme.
So Catwoman.
Yes.
yes.
Are we doing who's fat? Oh, I didn't.
I feel like we have to do who's fast because I feel like Ryan and I are going to know most of these.
Yeah.
All right.
So Tom was.
Some of these are probably easier than others. Batman Forever.
Yes.
Yes.
Super Nintendo on that.
Yeah. I remember the commercial for that. As a matter of fact.
Was Seal in it?
No. They actually. I'm pretty sure that there was a song written. It's funny that you say Seal because I feel like there was a song written specifically about the game, specifically for that commercial.
Okay. Cool.
The real game begins.
Taken.
No.
No. Damn it.
Monty Python and the
No.
Holy Grail.
Yes.
I don't know. Probably.
There is.
Yeah,
It's PC.
You are correct,
Yeah.
sir.
I bet it's a point and click, huh?
I don't know. I never played it.
Golden Compass.
Yes.
There is. You're right.
Yeah.
And Ant-Man.
No.
No. I got one.
You did get one.
Yeah.
That's fun. Fun game.
Yeah. Next time we play it, I should have more games.
We'll call that one Fast Movie.
Good one, Tom.
Movie quickly.
Yeah. Welcome to Movie Phone.
Musically.
Yeah. Call it TikTok.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. We got to it. It took us a while. We got to it.
Yeah.
We got there.
Yeah. Should
All
I
right.
take us out?
All right. So that's been our show.
No, seriously, take us out. I can't do this anymore.
All right, later. If you want to tell us what your thoughts about Breath of the Wild or any like points on it that we like missed that you like loved or hated, hit us up on like any of our social media.
I'm not going to listen to that.
Do not.
I'm not going to listen to you. Tell me what I missed.
Do not find me on Facebook or don't locate my Instagram.
I don't want to hear it.
DM me. I don't do that. That's my personal time.
Yeah, but the
Okay.
Save Continue one, not our personal ones.
Just send everything to Shanae.
Yeah, send it all to me or our Discord, or you can comment on our YouTube page.
Yeah,
you
do
can
that.
find us on most podcast apps as well as YouTube.
Shanae Howard
And-
at NASA.com.
Bye, guys. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.